Welcome to my channel. My name is Vicki York. I wanted to participate in the Authortube Newbie Tag just because, I've already filmed a few videos for my channel. I was trying to get a little bit more comfortable before I went in filming something like this. I wanted to be completely unscripted, so hopefully there's not a whole lot of jump cuts in here because I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but I have noticed that I am extremely awkward in front of this camera and I freeze up whenever I hit record, but I am getting better. So anyways, I just wanted to film something like this, kind of like a get to know you thing, and also make some friends along the way. Also, I have no script here. We are just going by the seat of our pants. I have all the questions here on my phone. So let's just go ahead and dive in and let's see how awkward I am, and hopefully there's not a whole lot of jump cuts. Alright, so number one, how would you pitch yourself? I would say I am a sarcastic, compulsive list maker, and I'm running on dreams and high amounts of caffeine. Number two, what made you want to start writing? Ooh, this is a good one. I knew I wanted to start creating stories whenever I was in first grade. We were just starting to go, a little bit deeper into learning to read, and I just thought the idea of telling stories was just absolutely fascinating. So I used to make, stories on that really big lined paper that you would get with the big blank space at the top where you would draw, your picture to go along with whatever you were writing about. I used to make little books like that. But it wasn't really until I was in third grade when I was getting really into Goosebumps by R.L. Stine, and just that whole aesthetic of that creepy feel just was really intriguing to me, and I wanted to write stories like that. But I didn't really truly dive into a story until I was about in sixth grade. I wrote a story, this is a little embarrassing to admit, I wrote a story about a vampire woman, little girl, and she met Teddy Roosevelt and she made him into a vampire, and then they went on adventures together. And if you were thinking, wow, that is just the greatest story ever, well, can't argue there. But really, I've been writing stories ever since, all throughout, high school, into my young adult life. Sorry, I have a baby monitor in here and I have to keep checking it to make sure I'm not waking my kiddo up. But anyways, I was writing stories all throughout my school years and into my young adult life. But I did not take the writing to the next level and actually start talking to other writers until probably about 2016, 2017. In 2017, I was laid off from my job. Not for anything that I did, the company was just closing. And during that time that I did not have a job, I decided to just soak everything into writing and just kind of going from there. I had a story that I was writing that was about vampires, but I had actually had a story concept in 2015 that I was kind of working on about ghosts, and I just, the whole time I was writing that vampire story, I just could not let it go. So that's what I'm still working on, and yeah. So let's move on to question number 3. How did you find out about Authortube? Well, that kind of goes back into what I said about whenever I was let go from my job and I was starting to dive a little bit more into writing, I started going on social media more and looking into other writers. I had discovered Jenna Morassi back in 2015 or 2016. Didn't really branch out from there, but I followed her for the most part. Really, during this time, I followed a lot of beauty YouTubers, so not a whole lot of writing. But in 2017, I started looking into more author tubers and branching out into that and following a lot of them. Let's see. Number 4, what is your book's pitch? It is You meets The Haunting of Hill House. So hopefully that sounds interesting to you, because it sounds really interesting to me. Number 5, what do you usually write? For the most part, I like to write paranormal or paranormal thrillers. Yeah, basically for the most part, paranormal or paranormal thrillers are really my go-to. Number 6, what will you never write? I never want to say never, but as of right now, I don't see myself writing a contemporary romantic comedy. I mean, I love reading those kind of books, like the little cartoon looking characters on the book covers are really intriguing to me, especially because they're usually pretty dirty inside. But I do like reading them, but I just don't see myself ever writing one, but never say never. Number 7, are you a plotter, pantser, or a plantser? Oh, 100% I'm a plotter. I used to be a pantser, but I found that even though I would write a lot of books this way, I never got very far into these books because I didn't really have a clear direction. But now I am definitely a plotter, and maybe a little bit too much so, because I have to have every single detail of my story figured out before I can even begin. And even then I'm never happy, so I don't know. It's an endless cycle. Number 8, what is your publishing path? As of right now, I want to be traditionally published, but, open to change, especially because self-publishing has become so big, and there used to be such a stigma about self-publishing, especially whenever I was starting to get more involved in the writing community. But, as of right now, still wanting to get traditionally published, but that is not concrete at all. Number 9, what is your biggest writing struggle? Ooh, never being happy with what I wrote. I am a constant editor, and I'm never happy with any of that. So, I'm just always editing. It seems like I fall into a loop of it, and I need to get a little bit better about having other people read it or read what I wrote before I start hacking it to bits, because I create a lot more problems that way. So number 10, what is your best writing skill? Probably definitely dialogue. I feel like I write pretty realistic dialogue. A lot of times whenever I write, especially my rough draft, I don't really do a whole lot of dialogue tags because I want to just write. And that way I kind of feel like I get a little bit more of a realistic conversation, of the back and forth. But usually, if I need to remember, I'll put the character's first initial. That way I don't forget who's saying what. But I don't do a whole lot of dialogue tags in my first draft. I go back and I kind of edit that. And that's probably not the best advice for everybody, but for me it works. So I would say that's my best writing skill. Number 11, what is your goal for starting an Authortube channel? Really my goal for this is I wanted to build a little bit of an audience for my book, and also I wanted to meet people and get into their books and get excited for other people, because I've always been a lurker on social media and everything, and just there is such a big community out there, and I'm trying to get better. And it's one of those things where it's like I've spent so long just doom scrolling through social media but never actually interacting, so I'm trying to get better with that. So yeah, definitely want to start making friends and putting myself out there. Let's see, number 12, what content do you bring to the Authortube table? Right now it's a lot of throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. As of right now, I am wanting to do some writing advice and tips, maybe a little bit of how-tos, and also doing book reviews. Like, I really enjoy doing book reviews, and it encourages me to read more, which is what we need to be doing anyway as authors. So yeah, I'm really wanting to bring more writer tips and book reviews. Number 13, are you looking for any new channels to follow, beta readers, critique partners, or other types of writing buddies? If so, tell us who you are looking for and connect with them in the comments. Okay, so the answer to all of that is yes, definitely. I'm looking to make more friends. So if you think that we're going to be jiving together, then I don't know what you're waiting for. Please comment down below. I'm wanting to open myself up and meet new people, so let's make this happen. And number 14, what are you most excited for during this new fresh start on Authortube? Really just, like I said, I'm putting myself out there. I'm finally going outside of my comfort zone. I've wanted to start this channel for quite a while. What I mean by quite a while, I mean 2018. But I just kept letting life get in the way. I just got busy, and really I was just making excuses. And then of course 2020 happened. Everybody has their own story with 2020. My story is I got pregnant near the end of 2020. And we were rushing because we were trying to get ready for this baby. We actually moved into this house, so there was a lot of moving pieces there, and just trying to get ready for our son. And then of course when you're being a new mom and you have no idea what you're doing, that takes up a lot of time. I mean, even if you do know what you're doing, it takes up a lot of time. But now I've learned that time is a luxury, and I feel like I'm a little bit more mindful of my time. A lot of what I do is when he is sleeping, because I did become a stay-at-home mom, yay, but that probably won't be the case for long. But anyways, yeah, so I just became a little bit more mindful of my time and knew that I wanted to pursue my dreams. I was watching my husband, who is going back to school right now, and it's like, why aren't I doing that? Why aren't I pursuing what I want to do with my life? I've always wanted to be a writer. I mean, I have a book idea that just keeps simmering, and so I finally took the bull by the horns, as the saying goes, and I just started fixing this story that I shredded to bits back in 2019, and I finally just put my head down and started writing it. So anyways, that is not what this question was, but this is how I am. I ramble. So going back to the previous question, if that sounds like you, hey, we're going to be best friends, right? All right, well, I think that's it for me. Anyways, I hope that you guys will welcome me to the community, and I look forward to meeting more of you and getting to connect with all of you. And yeah, and if you enjoy videos about writing and books, like I mentioned before, I hope that you will subscribe to my channel. I upload new videos every Monday. See you in the next one. Bye!